I'm Ashley Bowden. Most people know me on Instagram as Ashley Bowden Fit. It used to be Ashley Bowden Fitness, but last year my Instagram got deleted, so I had to start a new one. But yeah, so I've been in the fitness industry for almost 5 years now. I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a physical therapist and a cookie connoisseur, I guess you would say. I have a cookie business. So I stay pretty busy. I'm a very busy person. I also compete in the bikini division, NPC. I've been competing since 2018, and this year this is my 25th week of prep. So I have been working. So yeah, that's who I am. I have a lot of hats, as they would say. I stay really busy. It's like, if anyone has an excuse of time, it would be me because I literally do so much. But yeah, it's like, I have a passion for competing and for bodybuilding. And so I just make time for it.
So how'd you actually initially get into the world of fitness?
So, well, I played softball, when I was in high school. And then after high school, I was on like a co-ed league that I would play once a week. And I've always been kind of just active. I used to run a lot. It's funny is I always worked out at home too. Like I actually didn't join a gym until 2015. I always had like a home gym. My mom has worked out my whole life. We always had a home gym when I was growing up. Both my brothers have always been into working out. So, but I didn't really take it serious until like 2015. I joined a gym and started really, really making a dedication to being on a routine. But yeah, I mean, I guess I've always kind of just been around being just like active and stuff like that. And then I went to school for physical therapy. And the whole time I was in school for physical therapy, I wanted to be a personal trainer also. And a couple of the girls that were in my class, they were personal trainers already. So I talked with them a lot. So that was always a goal of mine. So after I worked as a therapist for a couple of years, I went ahead and got my certification for personal training. And I started my personal training business in 2018. So I do that. I've been doing that since then I still am a therapist too. I still see patients about Monday through Thursday and then sometimes on Fridays too. But I work full days, Monday through Thursday, seeing patients. But yeah, I mean, I've been into fitness for a while. I guess I would just say I've been in it my whole life, kind of, sort of. I don't, it's funny. I tell people, some of my friends this, I'll be on the treadmill at the gym doing cardio and I just look at people and see their form and I just shake my head and I want to go help them. But it's not really the thing to do is walk up and say, hey, your form's messed up. But if someone comes to me and asks me, or my clients, I have my clients will send me videos, my online clients I'll make them send me videos of them working out so I can see how their form is, especially with squats or deadlifts. That's just the crazy one that most people don't really get right. There's so many people on social media now posting things and it's great. It's good in ways because I feel like a lot more people are active now because, they follow their favorite person on Instagram and see them in the gym. So they get in the gym and that's great. But then it's like there's other sides to it where they start following and doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing. But the way I look at it is if as long as someone's out there trying, and they're getting out there in the gym and they're being active, good for them. But then it's like, okay, don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt yourself, and reach out for a coach or someone that can guide you. Even if it's for like 6 months, hire a coach and have someone teach you the ways. And then, you can maybe be on your own after you've done it for a while.
For your own personal experience in bodybuilding, what led you into that sport?
So it's pretty funny. Like, this girl I went to physical therapy school with, she messaged me one day and she's like, how come you don't compete? I'm like, compete? I didn't even know what that meant. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like compete. She's like, you're always in the gym and you're so active and you're in good shape. Why don't you compete? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. And she's like, oh, well, my coach, she was doing CrossFit at the time and she had a CrossFit coach. And she's like, my coach does these bodybuilding competitions. And I was like, oh, definitely not a bodybuilder. That's crazy. And then she's like, well, I'm going to give my coach your number and she can just tell you more about it because I don't know much about it. And I was just like, okay, well, I really was kind of brushing it off. Well, then her coach messaged me and goes, hey, Nicole told me that you were interested in competing. I went ahead and sent my coach all your information. He's going to contact you. I'm like, what? So this guy messages me and goes, oh, you want to set up a console? I heard you're interested in competing. I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Or so I went and met the guy. He actually went to my gym. So I'm like, okay. So I went and met up with him and he was telling me all about it. And this was like in August. And he's like, oh, I think you could do a competition in December. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I've never even done this before. He's like, oh, yeah, you're in pretty good shape. You could do it. So I ended up leaving there, signing up a 6-month contract with this guy. I get home and I didn't even tell my husband or anything because I knew he would be like, there is no way you're doing this. And we were leaving for a trip that night and we were on the road traveling. I was like, so, by the way, I signed up for a bikini competition. He was like, what? He's like, you're not getting on a stage in a bikini. And then I explained more about it to him. And he does like fishing tournaments. So he gets like the whole, like, kind of like competition type thing. And he's been doing that for years. So I was like, look, you have your thing. This can be my thing. And he was like, all right, let's do it. And I was only going to do like one show, that's everybody says that one show and be done. And then I did my first competition. I was hooked. I'm like, okay, yep, this is what I want to do. And so here it is. Like it's been 4.5 years later and I'm still going.
So for you, what is it about it? You're hooked, but what specifically about it is keeps you coming back?
When it comes to science-backed supplements that taste great, 2NS is your one-stop shop. They truly maximize quality by making their own supplements in-house. With over a combined 90 years of experience, 2NS's team of industry experts has a commitment to research, quality, development, and innovation. The body is sacred, so give it the best. Check out all 2NS has to offer at secondnaturesupplements.com. That's 2ndnaturesupplements.com. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here just for a second. Let me tell you about Smoking Gun Coffee. They're a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to produce a quality coffee at an affordable price. They only buy coffee from small coffee farmers around the world with a cup score of at least 85. Each batch is roasted to order for maximum freshness. They also donate a large portion of their proceeds to organizations that help local communities, veterans, first responders, or you can donate to the foundation of your choice at the checkout by going to www.smokingguncoffee.com. That's SMOKIN Gun Coffee.
I think, well, I love, like, such a routine person. Everything for me, like, I have my routine. I mean, I have to have a good routine with everything I manage, but I just love the routine. I love pushing myself and just having a goal to work towards, I think is really exciting. And just seeing your body change. Like, it's just really incredible to like, and then last year I took a whole off season. So I really put on some weight for me to try and put on muscle. And like, it's just like it's a challenge, I guess. It's like, you just want to keep getting better.
It's interesting because it's like anybody can kind of jump into it, but it can also be in the same way. It can lead to a lot of people struggle with different things in the sport, whether it be the diet aspect, whether it be just simply like getting to the gym consistently or whatever, like taking time and learning posing. There's all kinds of commitments to it. Did you find yourself struggling with any part of it, whether it be the commitment aspect, whether it be, having to eat so, specifically, whether it be really, I mean, even if you like going to the gym for, a specific goal and that's like, I have to do it no matter what. Like, was there anything for you or that you continue to, or that you did struggle with?
Honestly, no. Like, so for me, I feel like it's just, I don't know, bodybuilding has really changed me. Like, it's given me, I feel like, a purpose. And like, I used to have really bad, like, digestive issues. And since I've started competing and eating so clean and like on this, like, pretty much, I would say, like, kind of like a strict diet, just eating cleaner and eating these same foods, whole foods, it's helped me so much. And I just feel better. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's really helped me. I really have not struggled with having to go to the gym. I love the gym. I love like getting up and going every morning. Like, it's just in me. And like, even in my off season last year, I pretty much ate the same foods. Like, I would make some fun things here and there, but like, I don't know. It's funny as I keep telling some of my closest friends, like even when I'm done competing, like I'm still gonna probably have this exact same routine because it's just me. Like less cardio. I mean, yeah, I guess I struggle sometimes with when you have to get high cardio. Like a few weeks ago, I was doing 2 hours of cardio a day on the stairs, incline treadmill. My legs are killing me. I mean, yeah, that's a struggle. I mean, and it's you get up and you're like, God, I can't even imagine getting on the stairs for 50 minutes. Like you have to watch shows on Netflix to distract yourself, and it's like that's a really struggle, that's hard. But as far as like just getting up and going to the gym every day and eating my diet, like to me, it's like it's my life now. It's just who I am, and it doesn't seem like a struggle at all.
Going into that first show, for that first prep, what kind of experience was that for you?
My first prep, I think I was literally so fired up and so excited to compete. Like I thought it was such a cool thing. I mean, I still do, but like I had this coach and I literally wanted to prove I could do it. So I was on a strict meal plan my very first prep. And I mean, I ate it all. I did what I was supposed to do. And I remember it was like Halloween in 2018, and I asked him, I was like, can I have one mini Reese cup? And he was like, oh, it's not on your plan. I'm like, okay, well, I've been on prep for this many weeks. I've gotten this lean so far. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll do whatever you say. And then finally he's like, all right, you can have one. And I remember eating that one little mini Reese cup. It was like heaven. I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then, yeah, so when I got on stage, my first time, yeah, it was so fun. It was worth it, every minute of it. I just loved being up there, and I thought I was going to be like terrified to get on stage, to be honest with you, and the posing and all. Like I standing right there in line about to get on, I was terrified. I was shaking, my teeth were chattering, I couldn't get them to stop. But then once I got up there, it was so fun, and it all came kind of like natural. But after my first prep, I did not reverse well. I mean, you hear that from a lot of people. I didn't get a reverse plan. And my coach at the time actually went like on a cruise for 2 weeks, so I couldn't even be in contact with him. And I just kind of went, I would follow my peak week plan, which was so unhealthy because it was such low calorie. And then I would like eat all this stuff in front of my face. And like my first after show, it was like I did not do well. Now, I mean, I feel like I'm like a reversing pro, but back then, no. That was my first show was bad.
Yeah, you oftentimes do hear like people will say they spend all this energy before the show, like in prep, and the show comes, and then they kind of like don't take that part into consideration at all. Like even in their thoughts, they're not thinking, especially I guess for the first show, you're really not thinking about like what's going to be like afterwards. Like what am I going to be thinking? My body's going to be changing. For you, was there a lot of like, was it mentally hard for you to see your body change back into kind of like a more natural, more normal state?
Yeah, well, it was crazy. So after my first show, I really didn't gain that much weight. And I was eating all this food. It was really crazy. Like I think I gained like 5 pounds. Honestly, I had no clue what I was doing. I thought I was never going to compete again. I thought it was my one show. I was like, oh yeah, I reached my goal. It was awesome. Now I'm going back to like doing whatever with life. And I don't think it really cared what was going on. Mentally. I didn't like feel like I was like getting upset how I looked. But I will say that last year when I took my first real serious off season and I purposely was gaining weight, I mean, I did it over gradually, but as I was starting to gain more and more weight, it was mentally hard. Like my clothes didn't fit anymore. You have your prep clothes and your off season clothes, and my off season clothes weren't fitting anymore. And I'm like, I literally I weighed the most I've ever weighed in my life last summer. And I was like, man, it was mentally hard, but I knew that I had a goal and I needed to put on more muscle. I needed to grow because for the first like 2 years I competed, I never got like 5 pounds above stage weight ever. I just stayed super lean. And so I was just like this little string bean. I still don't have enough muscle. It's like, it's so hard to put on muscle for me, but it's like, I was literally like a stick figure. I was like zero muscle. And so I finally last year was like, all right, if I'm going to keep competing, I have to take an off season and I have to put on some weight. It was hard. It was hard.
This episode is brought to you by Move Your Body Apparel, a Lexington-based, community-ran premium activewear brand that promotes the importance of daily movement. For the rest of the year, MYB is donating a percentage of every order to the Special Olympics of Kentucky. Save 20% off your first order with the link below or use code TWR20 online at mybapparel.com. This podcast is sponsored by Smoking Gun Coffee, a veteran-owned coffee company that strives to give back to those in need. Don't forget to use code TWR10 for a 10% discount at checkout. Ready to take your supplements to the next level? 2NS is here to help. 2NS strives to help you attain the highest degree of health and performance. Combining cutting-edge science and the best from nature, 2NS gives fitness enthusiasts and athletes the fuel they need. Check them out at secondnaturesupplements.com. That's 2ndnaturesupplements.com.
So whenever you compete, especially that first show, you're around so many people with the same kind of goal as you and who have been through the same things. But as a first timer, did you look, or even, during more shows, like, do you ever look at the competition and kind of get like overwhelmed a little bit, or like, oh my gosh, I don't compare to them? Or does that thought ever cross your mind?
Yeah, it has before. My first show, probably not, because I really didn't know what was going on. But like my second, third show, probably, yeah. And I remember actually in 2020, I was doing a show and I was in line to tan. And this girl was in front of me. And I mean, she has had all this muscle. And I remember I was like, kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I even doing here? I shouldn't even be competing. And I remember I actually texted one of my friends and I was like, this girl in front of me has so much muscle. Like, I don't even know why I'm here. I have no business competing. Well, it turns out she was a figure girl, but still, I was like, so I think it's mostly like sometimes when you go to tan, like, you see people back, but now this year I've been competing. I'm just like, I don't know. This year has just been awesome. Like my mental state is the best it's ever been. I'm just like on a whole different level mentally. And it's like, I'm just here to have fun and do whatever happens. I know I put in the work. Everyone shows up. I mean, nowadays, when I first started competing, I guess I would say there was competition, but now it's like everyone is really showing up. Like, I mean, it's totally different just since I started competing. It's changed. The game has changed. And it's like, but this year, now I really haven't compared myself to anyone. I haven't looked at anyone backstage and be like, oh man, this is like, they're going to beat me. I'm just like, yeah, we're all here. We all worked hard. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think it's an important kind of, it really is a mindset game at the end of the day. Everybody can go through and do the action. It's just a matter of like, are you going to do it? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the plan in place? There's, like I said, everybody kind of in some way, I mean, everybody has different life, everybody has different schedule, but like, are you willing to take time out and are you willing to do the things? But you kind of mentioned like having that mindset. Do you do anything to kind of keep that positivity up? Do you keep that, the good vibes or whatever you want to call it, like up during, whether it be in any stage of bodybuilding, or do you feel like it just kind of comes naturally to you to have that positivity?
I think now I would say probably in the past, I remember in 2020 when I competed, I did not have a good mindset. I really didn't. And I probably shouldn't have competed when I did, because I don't know. I just was like comparing myself all the time. I kept thinking, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not going to be good enough. I was really like negative self-talking myself the whole prep I had, both my shows. And it shows on stage. I didn't do as well. I mean, I had like my show day wasn't even as fun. And so I was like, I can't be like that again. If you're going to be like that, you shouldn't even compete, really. So this year it's just been like totally opposite. I'm just like, I just keep telling myself, you know what? I'm proud of me. I've really, this is the best I've ever looked personally. And, I got myself here and I know how hard I've worked. And it's like, I really haven't had any negative thoughts this prep. I haven't compared myself to anyone. I used to would go and like search the hashtag of the show I was doing and see who all was doing it. I haven't done that at all this year. It's like, there's no point. There's no reason to do that to yourself. Like, show up for you, show up your best self. And that's what it is. I mean, there's girls sometimes that'll show up that I feel like sometimes look 10 times better than me and I'll beat them. It's like, it's whatever the judges think that day. It's so like subjective. And you even see these national shows. If I was I wouldn't even want to be a judge. You see all these girls up there and you're like, how do they even pick? Like everyone just looks phenomenal. So it's like, you just have to go in with the mindset, being proud of yourself and knowing that you did everything you possibly could. Now, if you're cheating on your diet, you're not finishing your cardio, you're slacking off, then, maybe you can't have a good mindset. But if you know that you personally did everything in your power to get there and to be your best, you have no reason to be, negative self-talk or, any of that feeling that way.
Along the way though, like as you continue to train and continue in this kind of bodybuilding journey, what do you feel like you've gotten better at, whether it be through your training, whether it be through your diet, whether it be through recovery? Do you feel like you've kind of optimized a certain area that has really kind of helped you make those gains that you've needed and wanted?
Yeah, I think recovery, honestly. I was just telling one of my friends that the other day that I've really this year have focused more on recovery, where it's like, I used to always be like, go, push hard, push heavy. I love lifting heavy. And I actually have a shoulder injury right now, my right shoulder. I haven't been able to train it in 15 weeks now. And I just used to have this mentality. Every single workout was like, push heavier, increase your weight, increase your weight. I would take one rest day and I never would do salt baths. I would, cardio. Like I just constantly was like balls to the walls, as they say. And this year I've kind of been like, okay, I need to have a deload week for one when it's necessary. I've been taking salt baths. Like I make time to prop my legs up. I've been making sure every night I have 8 hours of sleep, or at least the time. I mean, I don't always sleep through the night, but I give myself the time that I'm going to be in bed for 8 hours. So it's like I've really focused on that this year, and it does make a difference. Like recovery is very important, and there's even some weeks I'll only train 5 days a week and take 2 rest days. I've been listening to my body more. Like if my legs are still sore, and even though I have a scheduled leg day, say on a Wednesday, and I'm still really sore, I'm not going to train legs Wednesday. It's like I used to be like, oh no, it's on my schedule, I got to do legs Wednesday. But you got to listen to your body and you got to let it recover. Otherwise, you're not even building muscle.
And I guess, with physical therapy as a background, you can kind of understand more even the background of why, like, okay, my muscle needs this, or my, bones or whatever aspect, like they all need to recover.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny is like, I, I even in the past, like, it's like, I know this stuff and I will preach it day and night to my clients and to people. And then myself, I don't listen to my own advice. And they always say that, like, being a therapist, you're your worst therapist, because it's like, you don't listen to what you know. But this year I've really been doing, and I even just started recently getting body work done, which I had never gotten body work done before. I started getting massages more often. Like I just really have been focusing more on that and taking care of my body. And I think what really made me realize that is this shoulder injury I'm having. It's like, okay, I need to slow down. I need to rethink all this, and I need to do what I know I should be doing. And I think that really has made a big difference. I've actually been able to like lower my cardio a lot more. And it's like, I was always so scared, like, oh, if I don't do this much cardio, I'm not going to lose weight, but it's really not true. You really need to rest and recover.
So as far as the massages go, I think it's an interesting kind of road to go down a little bit. Is it something for you that you like make time weekly? Is it something you do monthly? Like what kind of schedule, and then like what kind, and then how much time do you usually spend on that?
So the massage, I only do like, it's kind of sporadic because my schedule's so crazy, but the body work I've been doing once a week, and I've done 3 weeks now. And it's, I think it's helping. I really do. But you got to realize too that you're going to have a couple days right after that you're going to have inflammation, you're going to be sore, and you got to just take that with it. And a lot of people, they'll go get body work or massages and they freak out because their weight goes up, or they're sore, they can't train. But it's like, you got to just know that comes with it, and just really, really recover from everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Even recovering from recovery
Yeah.
it's, yeah, putting your body through something, it's going to have a response to it. And just, I think that's such a hard thing about bodybuilding too, is like every single thing that you do within your life, is going to matter, even simply like the what's in the air that day, or like how much, are you drinking 10 ounces less of water that day, or like there's so many minuscule things that within bodybuilding, the sport, it could make you change. There's the smallest of things can make bigger changes than you would expect.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you really gotta, think about those things. And like even my clients, they'll like panic sometimes their weight's up a pound. And I'm like, okay. I send them a whole questionnaire. It's like, okay, did you drink all your water? How much sleep did you get? How's your digestion? It's like there's so many factors into what can control these things. And you really have to just realize that you can't get all bent out of shape and stressed out without thinking about all these factors that can really, change your physique. You can look watery because you didn't sleep well, or you didn't drink all your water, or, there's just so many things.
Yeah. For you, what do you feel like is one of the biggest things that people don't do well, whether it be too much of or not enough of, that they don't realize is making that change?
I think the main thing is sleep for one. And I don't know, I might get knocked for this, but I'm a really firm believer in eating clean whole foods. Like I don't truly believe in if it fits your macros. Yes, maybe if you're in life season, you're off season or whatever, but still, like if you're in a weight loss plan and you're trying to like cut, I really think you have to have whole clean foods. Like you can't just be eating most of the day like garbage, like I don't know. So I always, if a lot of my clients, I have them on meal plans, and if they're doing macros and their weight's not dropping, like I had a girl this week, I'm like, all right, send me your fitness pal, what you've been eating. And it's all just like processed, crazy, tons of sauces and like all this junk. And I'm like, okay, well, let me give you a meal plan for a couple weeks and let's see what happens. And sometimes that may not be what's keeping them from dropping weight, but I don't know. Probably 90% of the time when I make that change, they start dropping weight drastically.
I think too, like what you said about if it fits your macros, that we know so much now about like certain ingredients can do in processed foods, or like the chemicals that get sprayed on
Yeah.
food. Like we know what those can do, pesticides and things like that. Like we know there's research and we know like how those affect our body, our cells, and even though that might not count as a calorie, like what it does. And
Right. That's true. So true. And a lot of the artificial sweetener stuff, like that messes up people's digestion so bad. And it's like they think, sometimes it's better to just have the real thing versus this like sugar-free stuff. And because it's like it just messes up your digestive issue. Like I have a client right now that she has so many digestive issues, and I look at her, what she's been eating, and it's all these artificial things like sugar free this, sugar free that. And then like even whey protein, like I do have whey protein once a day, half a scoop, but like she was having it like 3 times a day. And then all these artificial sugar free syrup, just dousing it all over her food. And it's like, man, you got to cut some of that stuff out because it just really wreaks havoc on your digestive system. And people don't realize that.
This episode is brought to you by Move Your Body Apparel, a Lexington-based, community-ran premium activewear brand that promotes the importance of daily movement. For the rest of the year, MYB is donating a percentage of every order to the Special Olympics of Kentucky. Save 20% off your first order with the link below or use code TWR20 online at mybapparel.com.
yeah. And I always say like if it has to say on a label that it's healthy and that it's this, that it's the other, is it really? Because if you look at the natural things, the whole foods, they usually don't have much on them as far as, a label or a package. You just go to the grocery and you look at vegetables and fruits, that there's nothing on there. It says, healthy or organic. I mean, maybe organic, but, keto or this, that, and the other. Look at the meats, they're just there. But, if you go into the center, like I always say, avoid the center aisles mostly,
Right.
that's where things have to be vegan and keto and clean and all these other things. It's like they're trying to trick us in so many ways.
For sure. Yeah. It's just all advertisement, and it's you just got to be careful of some of that stuff. And it's I'm not saying you can't have anything processed. Like I'll tell my clients, have some stuff, whatever, but you can't have your whole diet being processed and artificial this, artificial that. You're just really you're asking for your health to have issues, not just the fact that you can't lose weight. You're going to end up with all these other issues.
Yeah, for sure. We're fighting a battle really when it comes to understanding nutrition in this country, and even people who want to understand it and who want to live a healthier life and lose weight or just be healthy in general. Um, so many people just don't get the education anywhere, and they don't know that they just fall back to, okay, this says this, so it must be good, or whatever. This, I trust this brand for whatever reason. I grew up with it, so it must be good.
No, I agree. And I tell all my clients, your health comes first. Like, yeah, you have weight loss goals and this and that, but health always comes first. So I always break it down. I make my clients get their blood work done. Like when I first start with them, I send them out all these like little forms to fill out, and I want to know, what are your eating habits? What have you been eating? I actually just got one of my clients to quit smoking, which is incredible. And I also like, I'm a really firm believer in getting my clients off of birth control. That's a whole nother topic, but it's like health first. Like I want my clients to be healthy. And so that's like my main thing with my people is health. And then we start tackling everything else.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at pretty much all the mainstream sports, you're gonna see the people at the top. They are health. They're pretty much. I don't want to say they're healthy per se, because a lot of times health and sports don't mix, but they do try to optimize what they can optimize as far as their health, because
Right.
they do understand. They do understand that will impact if they perform well and if they can build muscle well and things like that. So I think just taking that kind of high level athlete approach and pushing it kind of into other, especially like bodybuilding, which is definitely very important to push it into, but pushing some of that also into just kind of the mainstream and of understanding why certain people do certain things is important. But getting kind of back to your own bodybuilding, what do you feel like, what do you feel like is the future for you in the sport of bodybuilding?
Right now, I've decided that after I have two more shows this year, and I've decided that I'm going to take probably about a year or 2 years off, not just to build, but to live life a little bit, because I've been so like, I mean, I will still be on my like, I'll still be in the gym. I'll still be following my macros and diet and stuff like that. But just to be able to like not say no to so many things that are coming up. And I really try to still do everything I can while I'm on prep. Like I'll go to places. I don't just sit at home, and I'll go to family events, friends events and stuff, and I'll take my meals with me and I'll eat in the car on the way or something. I try to still like pretty much live my life while I'm on prep. But there's still things like going on a vacation. It gets hard. Like I'm going to Tulum, Mexico in December, and it's like right after my show, and I can't take any of my food with me, and this will be my first vacation in probably like 5 years that I'm not taking any food with me. That makes me a little nervous, but I know that I've already been looking it up and sketched out the whole place, and they have a lot of like fish and stuff like that. So I'm not really, I know it'll be fine. And I mean, I'm so good at this now. I'm not really worried, but it's going to be definitely weird traveling, not carrying bags of all my food. But so yeah, after this year, I think I'm going to take like a year or 2 years off of competing and just, I don't know, I got to get my shoulder really worked, like fixed. It's like, I probably have to have surgery more than likely, what I've been told from two doctors so far. So I really got to get my shoulder fixed. And just my health is pretty good minus that. I just need to take some time to not be lean. I've been lean for 25 weeks now almost, and it's starting to kind of play a toll on me. Like I don't have much energy. I just, my bones hurt. Like it hurts to sit anywhere. Like I'm just so tiny. I just know I need to give my body a little time to just be normal and like at homeostasis, I say, because I've really been pushing myself hard this year. And I wouldn't say I've pushed myself into the ground yet, but I feel like I'm going, if I keep going like this, I'm going to be in the ground. Like I can just feel it. Like I can just tell I'm really pushing myself hard this year, and I need to just take some time to let my body just kind of chill. Um, and I'm taking that little bit of time, but this year has just been incredible. I coached myself this whole year. So that was my biggest goal this year, was to be able to prep myself. And it's just been incredible. It's gone amazing. Everything has gone to plan. It's my best I've ever done competing. So it's just been really rewarding, and it's been an awesome year.
That's awesome. So to kind of wrap things up, what advice would you have for whether it be women or men who kind of want to get into the sport of bodybuilding and they want to do it, but they want to also do it in a healthy and in a safe way?
Okay, so my advice would be is to, first, if you've never done it before, you should definitely have a coach. And you need to find a coach, like, don't just pick the first one. Like, I would always recommend to interview coaches, talk to them on the phone, find out what their style of coaching is. If you have a coach that says right away they're going to put you on this and that run, and I would also say do some of your own research, find out more about like what stuff is or what you're planning to do. Know that it's not going to be healthy and that you are going to put your body through some potentially damaging things. That, I mean, yeah, you can get better, but just know that it's not going to be healthy. Have time for it. Make sure you have time for it, and money. Like, competing is expensive. It's a lot of money, just not just even for coaching, but supplements, coaching, your food. Food's a little more expensive because you're eating clean foods, and you're eating a lot sometimes. And then the shows, you got your hotel, tanning, all that. Like, just know it's going to cost money. Find a good support group, because you might have friends or family that don't understand it. So make friends. I always say make friends in the sport, because that's going to get you through. I mean, when you make friendships in the sport, you're just going to do so much better. If you're trying to do this all by yourself, you're not going to make it.
It was really good getting to talk to you and get to meet you. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Thanks for having me on.
100%. And if you want to share your social media and stuff before we head out, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay, well, my Instagram is Ashley Bowden Fit, and then I have a YouTube, and it's under Ashley Bowden, and I've been putting my whole prep journey since day one on there, and so you can see how I've coached myself and everything I've gone through prep. So my YouTube is a really good place for that, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I have other social media, but it's not really for my fitness stuff.